Hello TYM, this is J360 bringing you guys yet another Reptile video. Now this time around I decided to do something a little different. Instead of combos, I'm going to be releasing my guide. Now this guide is going to be the first of 3 character variation guides I will be releasing for Reptile. I decided to start with Nimble, as you may see at the top left corner of the screen, and the reason being is that it has been in debate over the past few weeks as to whether or not this variation is viable. I myself, my original stance was that this variation didn't offer as much utility as Deceptive, or even Noxious. Now, Reptile is a very special character of the cast because he's one of the few characters that whose kit does not, his core gameplay doesn't change across his variations. However, each and every one of his variations offer a tool that is unparalleled in the game. One offers time really manipulation. Another one offers defensive chip or wear and tear on your opponent in both defense and offense. And the other offers invincibility and projectile invulnerability, which is unparalleled in this game at the moment. Not making it broken, however, his tools are just, no one else has them. Now, Nimble is a variation that seems to be more meter dependent than the other two. However, after labbing it up for quite some time, I've come to find that Nimble is just as strong as the other two, if not maybe even stronger than Deceptive and Noxious. I need more time to really flesh it out, but from what I found, Nimble has become a whole lot more interesting for me, and it may be more interesting for you guys as well. This variation now has meterless setups that are character dependent, so in each and every matchup you may have different setups that may work to get some Nimble out from a combo without any meter. Which makes it kind of strong. Now, Reptile, his options really vary from character to character, and this is what makes Nimble so complicated, is that you have to learn a different way to incorporate it into a matchup for each and every matchup. And Nimble has a wide variety of punishes, a wide variety of damage options. Once you land a hit, or even, you know, once you are able to get a Nimble out, a Basilisk out meterless, you can fish for a hit, you can start a zoning war that they can't really contest, and so forth. He's very strong. So I'm gonna get right to it. I'm not going to be showing you guys every character. I'm just going to show you a few, and over the next few weeks I may be releasing character specific Nimble setups, or whatever you guys find you should be posting in this very thread that I'm going to make. But there are too many punishes and too many variables for me to go over everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a few, show you guys the basics for characters that have fast advancing wake ups, for characters that don't have fast advancing wake ups, for characters that have teleports, and really characters that just have no options at times. So I'm gonna get right into it, and now this right here is the oldest setup in the book, 4412 Basilisk. This works against a lot of characters, but you've got too much damage on the front end, so let's try to get a little bit more out of it. Now, there is a claw setup that works on some characters. First test against a character when seeing it works is try claw setup. Claw setup doesn't work against Shinnok, so now we try spit setup, which is 4412 dash 4412 spit. That spaces him out just right. This is the setup we're going to use against Shinnok. Let's try it out against another wake up. His shoulder, his crushing shoulder. It beats the claw setup, so now we try the spit setup. Spit setup works. And that seems to be our go-to. 2 out of 3 wake-ups. Well, 2 out of 2 wake-ups so far. I'll get blown up by this. The overhead gives you the same spacing as the original 4412-4412 setup. So this can be used interchangeably. And you also get the same effect off of the back 1 down 4 as well. Back 1 down 4, fastball, neutral jump punch, standing 4 spit. Gives you the same amount of space. You get even more punishes. You see there's a different punish for everything I'm doing. It's just because I'm freestyling with everything. It's too fun. This is an anti-air setup. If you're checking balls and people decide to try to jump over you, you come right into a ball and get a Meterless Nimble combo. 41%. Now Sub-Zero is a bit different. I'm showing you guys a Sub-Zero setup because it requires real magic knowledge. In this, the spit setup will only work if you take a minor step back. Notice, in all of the setups I do on Sub-Zero, I have to step back before activating. Very, very minor step back. In the back 1 down 4 setup, you'll see it pretty obvious. Neutral jump punch, walk back, standing 4 spit, activate. So Sub-Zero requires a bit of a step back. Now, let's go to a character who can teleport. Now, when you try the claw setup, it gets bodied by the teleport. Alright, so let's try the spit setup. This is the farthest one. It's bodied by the teleport as well. Well, have no fear. There's the third setup. Back 1 down 4, fastball, 2 neutral jump punches. Giving just enough advantage to avoid any sort of teleport wake up. This also works against Scorpion's takedown. So this is a Scorpion specific one, but it also works on other characters like Kano, who bodies the claw setup with his ball, and also bodies the spit setup with the ball if he tech rolls. Full screen. So now we do that same double neutral jump punch setup. Lo and behold, we can react. Full screen, you can react with the EX slide and get a nice combo off of it. The combo I just showed. And also, if he decides to do a roll instead of knives, you can always armor claw. Now remember, you have a meterless startup, so using a meter won't be so bad right now. These are corner setups against Tremor. Now, what I'm showing you here is basically characters that don't have fast advancing special moves, armored special moves at that, can get shut down by this, depending on what they do. Now, it's all a guess. It's all a guess. However, Reptile does have pretty good options against Tremor if he knocks him down, and he can get some pressure out. So you can avoid all of Tremor's wake-ups and full combo punish him for trying. Also, if they tech roll, it kind of seals their fate. So in this setup, tech rolls, I can break his armor that I normally wouldn't be able to break while activating Nero's Basilisk. Now this combo is actually 52%, which doesn't include the clink from the forward 4. So now you have Nimble activated. What the hell do you do? Well, you have a few options. One is you can just take advantage of being a zone god with shit like that, where you can do a spit and a ball before most characters can get out of a projectile, and you can continue your offense behind the ball. There are a few sneaky ways to play the character once this is on. You can also bait a projectile out, combo punish, stuff like this. You can, if they do projectile, you can go in and start some pressure. Some characters can't contest the pressure. Also, speaking of characters that can't contest the pressure, let's say Quan Chi, for instance. If you get up close to him, he's not going to be able to armor out of half of the things you can do. Once again, this is a purely matchup-based strategy. But let's say, for instance, he gets, I don't know, the shittiest armor move in the game. Can't get out of it. You know, he can try to down one. He can risk trading, because at best he can trade. If I do forward 4-1, 2-1, forward 4-1-2, he won't be able to get out. So this right here is +2 to this. So there's really no poke in the game that can get out of something like that. It is a high starter, but chances are if you're defending against Basilisk, you're going to be blocking a bit. Now, Reptile can do a few things that he normally wouldn't be able to do in this, such as jailing on hit. So let's set the character to not block. Right. So let's say normally, actually I'll set him to duck. Normally this wouldn't be able to hit, as you can see, you know, he's ducking. However, if I start this, it jails standing just because of the fact that the recovery is a lot slower when they get hit. So with Basilisk activated, Reptile has stronger zoning and stronger offense. However, he still is a glass cannon. He needs to be aware of the fact that you cannot block. So having a ball out at all times does help. Now you can do things like, once you have this out, you can run in, try to go for a mix-up, low, high, hell, or even throw. Whoops. You can do it off the throw. Let's say I do a slow ball, throw into this, get a combo. You know, whatever the hell you want. This variation has so many punishes. Once you really start getting down with the rushdown options, it is pretty strong. Now, just so you know, throws deactivate Nimble. So the moment he does that little jerk and then tosses you up, Nimble is over. So if you're going to do this ball setup, you got to make sure to go for a back throw into it so that you don't deactivate it before the ball gets there. You know, but that's just one of the things about it. Also, people do tend to have problems getting out a Basilisk or EX Basilisk after they have a ball out on screen. So you know you want to go for something cool, like you're like, okay, well, they're gonna block this, now I get to get my shit out. Well, instead you get that. I'm gonna show you guys why. The buffer window is a little tight. The input window is a little tight for getting a perfect Basilisk and for stopping the ball, since they're both the same exact input, just one has X in it and the other one doesn't. So I'll show you guys with the button log on. So this is what it looks like when you do it correct. The X and R2 are pressed at the exact same time. Notice I didn't stop it. Now here I stopped it. That's because R2 is pressed before X. The triggers on a PlayStation 4 controller, and I'm speaking strictly for PlayStation 4 players, is a little tough to really coordinate with the X at the same time. So what I like to do, once I throw this out, I press the X first, and then I go for the trigger. I kind of like clink from the X to the trigger, instead of the other way around, which I would normally do for everything else. See, I get that. And you can do it. You can still get Basilisk out by doing trigger first then X, but I would just go for X first then trigger in order to get this out and do some cool stuff. So, you know, you can still get in, punish, and do whatever the hell you want correctly. So, note to self, start with X, then trigger in order to get this out. Alright? A few things you may or may not know about Nimble is that all duration effects are longer than normal. The durations are a bit longer. So let's say, for instance, if I throw out a slow ball, it goes much slower than normal. I can actually walk with it. You know, we all know that because we've all fought against the Reptile. However, things like spit are also a bit longer. Now, this spit right here is 18 clicks. So it's 1% per click. So it's 18% damage if you stay in the whole thing. Now, with Basilisk activated, it's actually 22 clicks if you started from the very beginning. Now, remember, Basilisk has buffered damage. It's prorated a little bit to prevent really, really high damage in combos. That includes the spit and any other projectile as well. So the first 10 clicks are 0.8% because Basilisk is still on. And once Basilisk turns off, it actually has another 12 clicks. So the other 12 clicks are 1%. So you'd get a total of 20% damage, and I'll show you guys. So let's pay attention to the life bar of Quan Chi. You'll notice that the damage is going to stop a little bit above the U, like right above where the U starts on his name. And when we have Basilisk activated, the 22 clicks, and it clicks a little bit more, you'll notice that it's going to stop right over the Q, like halfway through the Q. So you do indeed take a bit more damage while this is on. Now this goes for anybody else's things that they activate. They may be a little longer, such as Scorpion, Hellfire, and you know, I guess Liu Kang's Flame Fist also. They may last a little bit longer while they're in this, and it's just to compensate for the fact that they're going in slow-mo as well. So everything lasts just a tad bit longer when Basilisk is activated. You know, lastly, I just want to say that this variation is really fun. The more I play it, the more I really enjoy it. But this is definitely the variation that requires the most work. Reptile has an amazing core kit, and Basilisk just gives them really high damage. However, it does require high risk. He doesn't have the safety that he would in Deceptive, and he doesn't have the defensive tools that he would have in Noxious. However, his offensive tools in this are very strong if he can get them out on a character. The difference between this variation and the other two is that he can shut down certain characters in this variation that he wouldn't be able to shut down in the other two. However, the other two do help him across the board a lot more. So they're a bit easier to use, and some offer more defensive utility than this one does. However, with time, I believe that Nimble may actually become his best variation. Not in the sense that it can cover every matchup, but in the sense that it can give him even better winning matchups than he already has. This is definitely a high risk, high reward variation. You know, you get 50% corner combos, 41% corner carries, stuff like that once you get the hit. And Reptile, the way he's played now, he does carry his meter pretty well. So using an EX Basilisk isn't really a big deal. However, now actually being able to get a normal Basilisk makes this a whole different ball game in some matchups. So he can activate and actually build meter on some characters that really have little to no options against it. Defensively, now everybody in the game has some sort of option they can do against it, but the setups I showed you guys are pretty airtight for the most part. So, like I said, I can't show you guys really everything because this variation is just, it has too many variables in it for me to show you everything. Too many punishes, too many ways to do this and that. But you know, each and every matchup has its way to get Basilisk out, and each and every matchup has certain things you have to look for when in Basilisk mode as well. Alright, so I hope you guys learned a thing or two watching this guide, and I hope it was helpful. Peace out.